Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a review of VR Zone in Osaka and what my experience of it has been. I went there maybe maybe 2 weeks ago or so. So yeah, let's do it. So what is it? VR Zone Osaka is basically a VR arcade or theme park based in Osaka. It's on the 8th and 9th floor of the HEP 5 building, which is in Umeda, and it recently opened in September or so. There's already another VR zone in Tokyo, I believe, but besides that I don't know much more about it, I'm afraid. The main kind of attraction of this place in general is that all of the experiences have extra hardware that goes along with the game and the headset itself, which obviously you can't do or have at home. So the venue opens from 11 AM in the morning all the way up until 10:30 in the evening. When it comes to tickets, there's two different ways you can purchase them. You can either buy your tickets at the door when you arrive, or you can purchase online at a convenience store or online on their website. So there's two different types of tickets required. First is the admission ticket. This allows you access into the venue, and as an adult this is going to cost you 800 yen, whereas as a child from the ages of 7 to 13 it's going to cost you 200 yen. Then you have the activity tickets required to actually do the experiences, and one of these is going to set you back 1,200 yen. This provides you with one experience. However, there are ticket sets of 4 which you can purchase for an extra discount. You can also get a further discount if you buy your tickets as a group of up to 4 people. However, if you'd like to see the full details on all the offers available, then please check out the link in the description below. There are currently 15 different activities available, 2 of which are actually unique experiences that require a separate ticket to do. So first we have Godzilla, which is an Apache helicopter experience. The second one is Evangelion, which is an EVA pilot experience, I believe that's what it's called. Next we have Gundam Unicorn, which is actually a heights experience, believe it or not. I'll mention more about that later. Then we have Galaga Fever, which is a wave shooter. Next we have Dragon Ball, which the best way to describe it would be a Dragon Ball Kamehameha simulator. Then there's a fishing experience. Extreme Currents, which is another heights experience, yep. Ski Radio, which is a skiing experience. Dynavore Survival Run experience. Then next we have Hospital Escape Omega, horror experience. Then we have Panic Cube, which is a room escape experience. Then we have Hanechari, which I think means winged bicycle. Can translate it perfectly, but that's actually a heights experience. And then lastly we have Rapid River, which is a rafting simulator. Lastly we have the 2 special experiences. The first one is Dragon Quest VR, which is a field VR experience. For those of you that don't know, field VR is basically a large arena, in this case a 20 by 12 meter area, which allows you full body movement during the activity, and this particular one, and generally in most cases, has multiple people in the environment at one time and you're able to see them in the experience. This particular activity has extra equipment provided, so since there's different sort of classes, one class might have a hammer and a shield, which are actual physical props that attract, and then another might have a sword and a band. I can't tell you what the band acts as, but that's what it said. So a ticket for this experience will cost you 4,000 yen as an adult, and that's including the admission. So the admission ticket, and then as for a child it's going to cost you 3,400 yen. Next we have Idolish 7 Prism Night, which is a live CG performance performed by the idol group Idolish 7. Whilst this doesn't use VR, it does utilise CG computer generated characters, which I suppose is this Idolish group. A ticket for this is going to cost an adult $4,800, and there wasn't any mention of a child's price, so perhaps you have to be a certain age limit to attend this event. However, if you're interested in this live performance, you can find out more in the article I've discovered. This is down in the description below. Once you get inside, they hand you a brochure, a leaflet, which basically just details all the games that are there, and gives you a little map of where everything is on the 2 floors, and a little bit of extra information there on the outside. And then inside of that you get this, which basically, if you can't already tell, is a face mask to put on underneath the headsets, so that prevents all the sweat getting on them, because obviously there's multiple customers coming in, and it wouldn't be particularly hygienic or very nice if they're really, really sweaty after you've been using them. So yeah. So the games I actually ended up choosing from my 4 tickets were the Rapid River Raft Experience, the newer one, Godzilla VR, which is also the other new experience they had, Gundam Unicorn VR, and lastly was Evangelion VR. So for the first experience, which I tried, Rapid River VR, there's 4 seats on this big old raft basically, which has a gyro and moves around during the experience. Alongside that you also get a baton which has one of the Vive trackers attached to the end, so it's tracked within the game, and you use that to obviously paddle and move yourself around, which is quite cool. So the Godzilla VR experience basically starts you off being in a helicopter. It's one of those ones which is on train tracks. I can't remember the VR terms here, but yeah, you're kind of on a set dedicated path, and then Godzilla comes out of nowhere and starts tearing everything apart, and obviously you're dodging and weaving in between everything, and it kind of ends in a little battle. The downside to this was that you don't really get to control the helicopter at any point, which is disappointing considering you're in a chair with joysticks, which you can move around. So that was a bit disappointing, but I'm sure the ability is there to do that if they wanted to, I guess. As for the Gundam Unicorn one, that was probably the most disappointing one, but I think that was more just because of my expectations, and the fact that I've done VR before, so it wasn't necessarily anything special to me. But basically you sit down on the Gundam, the massive mecha Gundam's hand as he flies up into space, and basically him and another Gundam, I don't know what they're called, I don't know the Gundam series very well, but another Gundam mecha robot basically have a massive fight in the sky for a couple of minutes. I think one of the main draws of it is that you're really, really high up, but I'm quite used to VR and I'm not super phased by heights anyway, so that didn't have a huge effect on me. But in fairness, the cinematics, the special effects during the fight were actually really, really good, but that's not necessarily something specific to VR. Although I guess they did do it in VR, so that's impressive in itself. But yeah, there wasn't too much to that experience, which is a shame, but hey, at least it looked cool. And the last one I did was Evangelion VR, which I also don't know much about, in fairness, but you're basically in these kind of like racing pods which are sort of declined slightly. It was kind of like sitting in a toboggan almost. That's kind of what it felt like. And these ones you did actually get a bit more control over, as opposed to the Godzilla experience. Basically, it's a massive boss fight, and you've got to complete it within the allotted time, which is probably around 5 minutes. And you have lots of different weapon pickups and stuff. But to be honest, it all happens so quick. It's kind of difficult to know what's going on, but it was enjoyable nonetheless. That was probably one of my more favourite ones. So what were my thoughts overall? Well, I definitely had a couple of takeaways from this. I would say that my preconceptions might have perhaps made some of these experiences a bit more underwhelming. That definitely didn't help, and also the fact that I have VR myself and I've been using it for a few months, so some of this stuff isn't as new when it comes to just the headset itself and the capabilities of that alone. Yeah, because of that, I need more innovative stuff to be kind of amazed by, I guess, or just really, really good content. In the Godzilla experience, during this final battle I mentioned, when you actually take him down, there's so much going on the screen that the game actually did have a somewhat considerable frame drop for a second or two. There was so much on the screen. It was pretty mental. So I guess maybe I can't really blame it. I don't know, but it's definitely something worth noting. I could tell quite quickly that the experiences were definitely toned down for beginners. For instance, the gyros on the raft itself that you're sitting on. Let's say you're going down the river and then you hit into a rock. I was already thinking in my head like, whoa, this, like, I might actually get slammed forward, but it's ever so slightly delayed and kind of smoothed out, and it's not very it's not like a very sharp boom. So yeah, it's definitely toned down for people who are newer to VR, and maybe just to avoid people getting sick in general. I don't know, but yeah. But hey, I mean, I guess the possibility's there for them to turn it up and make it more realistic. I don't know. The other thing I noticed with this experience was the actual paddle itself. It was either a bit delayed or it just wasn't tracked like as well as I expected it to be. I don't know. I've never had one of these trackers, so I don't know how they normally work, but when you're paddling with them, they kind of seemed a bit slow almost. So I don't know, just another thing I picked up. So the actual machines, extra devices that got utilised in these experiences, as an example, the rafting one, although they, like I previously mentioned, they're kind of watered down, so to speak, for the newer players. They did actually provide a decent sense of inertia. So when you kind of hit something or you went off the edge of a waterfall, although it was very slow and quite mild and almost delayed, I guess, I personally could still feel like a little bit of, oh, like this kind of feels a little bit real. So that was really enjoyable and nice to know that it's possible. So during all of these experiences, they were using Vive Pros, obviously with the headphones and everything. Now I've never tried a Vive Pro beforehand, so I didn't have a previous experience of it, but I would say that the resolution was definitely better. But yeah, without a side-by-side comparison, quickly going from one to the other, it's difficult for me to say it was significantly better. Yeah, I couldn't say for certain. My only gripe with this is, for me personally, the actual hole in the middle, I don't think was wide enough, so sometimes whilst I was playing, the very edges of it were kind of rubbing against the outsides of my eye. And obviously once you've got the headset on, it's pretty difficult to move everything around, so it's just a little niggly thing, but it didn't detract from the overall experience massively, but it was worth mentioning. So what are my overall thoughts and impressions of this place? Well, personally, although it was quite expensive, I still thought it was quite enjoyable, especially as kind of a one-off thing. I mean, considering the amount of equipment that goes with all of these experiences, and just the fact that it's a VR arcade in general, I fully expected it to be expensive, which is a shame, but that's just the way it is at the moment with the VR industry. But no, definitely some enjoyable experiences, and I'm personally more excited about what this kind of technology will do for the VR industry in the future as opposed to right now. That's definitely what excites me the most, and these experiences, and just thinking, oh, maybe some of these could be turned into proper games, and I could see them being really enjoyable with or without this extra immersive technology or equipment, sorry, that goes along with the headset itself. As for beginners, people who are new to VR, yeah, it's still expensive. That goes without saying, but I'd say as a first-time user, it would still be worthwhile coming here, even if it's just once, and giving some of these things a go. I definitely recommend the full ticket bundle if it's your first time, because you're going to save money instead of continually coming back in. And obviously, if you get 4, then if you do happen to get an experience which maybe you didn't get much out of, then at least you've got 3 other chances to find something that you find enjoyable, exciting, and who knows, opens your eyes to what VR is all about. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Something slightly different from all the other videos I've done so far, but since there's nothing out there on this place, as far as I'm aware, I figured I might as well do a video on it. And yeah, I'm just really really passionate about VR at the moment. So I figured it was a suitable thing to do. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope this was informational and useful to people who might want to check this out. And yeah, that's all for this one. See you in the next video, no matter what it is. Bye.